All righty. What is up, party people? We got Pete Fournier in the house. So we're going to be discussing some interesting music taste and clay pigeons and a whole bunch of stuff that is Pete Fournier, a side that he doesn't get to talk about a lot. So, Pete, how are you doing, my man?
Good, bro. How about you?
I'm doing phenomenal. I didn't really know a whole lot about you for a while until I got tight with Tony Merwin and Joe Campert, and they've always had rather phenomenal, I'll say, things to say about you. Tony said that Pete Fournier had a certain swagger about him. So I was like, okay, I was like, that's probably my type of guy to talk with. So anyone that gets that type of compliment is cool in my book. So, dude, fill me in on like, what are some things that, like, what are your top 3 unique interests in life?
Oh, top 3? I would say I'm a racket sports junkie. So played tennis all growing up. Played, I would call it professional racquetball. I played on varsity racquetball in college, which is a weird ass sport to take up. And then played some pro tournaments throughout my tenure. And now I've gotten into pickleball. One, because a lot of retirees and Medicare clients play pickleball, so it's an easy way to pick up clientele. But I'm aging into 36 right now, which is a little old for.
You're in your prime, man. I can't stand when people call that old.
So tennis hurts my knees a little bit. So big in the pickleball space right now. So love racket sports. Also a huge musical theater nerd. I lived like 15, 20 minutes respectfully without traffic outside of New York City. So did a lot of musical theater back in the day, both in my high school, college, community theater. I would go see a show like once a month. When I'm in the field driving, if I'm going to appointments, you might see me on Instagram blasting some musical theater shit. So love that. And then I would say other guilty pleasure is playing instruments. I play drums, guitar, a little bit of piano, bass, a little saxophone, but big music junkie just overall. So, and then 4th would be watches. If you follow
watches, yeah. I was checking out your profile. I saw that it made me even want to put on mine. I'm picky on my watches because I scuba dive a lot, so I have to have ones that I can take underwater. So I love Invictas. I love those things.
Nice. So in the process of getting my, I signed up for a course to get my scuba certification. So I'm a bit claustrophobic, so I'm doing it. One, to get over that fear, but also my girlfriend's a huge scuba geek, so I was like, let me.
Do you guys have any cool trips planned for that?
We're going to Italy at the end of this month, and then I want to do Hawaii. Once I am super involved in something, I want to go balls to the wall with it, whether it be like music or scuba. Or I used to do a shit ton of rock climbing that I want to get back into, but I don't like being bad at anything. So once I learn how to do something, I want to get like fully immersed. So I want to do Maui. I want to do Australia eventually.
Oh, dude, Australia is one of the most beautiful places to dive. When I lived over in Brisbane, I checked out the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh shit,
dude! When you guys dive that, it's breathtaking, man. But Kona, Hawaii, they have like a nighttime manta ray dives. I booked a trip in COVID, but it got canceled. I wonder why. That's another thing I actually respect about you. You have an outgoing personality. You're just kind of take me as I am, or get the hell out of my life. What would you recommend to like agents, entrepreneurs, and stuff like that? Because having a personality is, I think, going to help them connect with the type of people they want to sell to. It's like, what's the price that you have to be willing to pay and stuff like that? Because I see a world where like we teeter-tottered trying to people please and act like something we're really not. What would you give advice on for that?
That's a great question. One of the best podcast questions I think I've ever gotten. So early on in my career, I was a big wuss when it came to politics, my beliefs, my personality. I grew up in North Jersey. I'm going to drop an F-bomb probably every 30 seconds, that
Sounds
kind
good to fucking me.
But like, as Tony will tell you, like I killed a deer for an app back in the day. Like I was also like too much of a chameleon because I was money obsessed and I wanted to close policies. So I would assimilate to my client because I was always of the mantra of know a little about a lot. You like guns, you like boats, you like hunting, you like sports, you like this, you like that. I knew enough to be dangerous in a social setting. Now, it really is determined on the how much success you have and how willing you are to negate certain either clientele or agents or hires or whatever for your beliefs. Like, I'm not here to throw anything in anybody's face and be like, you got to believe this or vote this way or have this mantra or drop F-bombs or whatever in order to associate with me. But at the same token, I'm going to be me because, one, it's too much work and stress to not be. Like, what am I going to put on a facade right now? But two, arguably I've obtained some level of success that it affords me the ability to be able to do that. I understand certain agents, especially in the insurance space or salespeople in general, are scared to be themselves, whether it be online, in person, or both. But it's more stressful and more work, arguably, to be anybody else. In my
you have to start remembering all these lies. It's like, well, what did I tell them? And like, I have to make sure that if he talks to so and so, it stays. Like, you end up getting caught in this. It's an ugly game you play, and like that thing you talked about negating. Like, are you willing to say no to a big annuity if it means like that's the price you have to be willing to pay to kind of walk around with that comfort in your own skin.
Yeah, I had a $175,000 annuity walk out the door. The guy blatantly asked, hey, man, like, I'm only going to do business with this political affiliation, which is crazy. But like, I was like, okay, like, I'm not going to lie to you. I voted this way. And he was like, I can't do business here. Like, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. And if $7,000 walks out the door, like, it's okay. Again, I'm not here to like change your mind, but also never would I ever, if I frequented a bar or a restaurant or a tennis facility or racquetball court, whatever, right? Shooting lodge. And the guy had beliefs completely the opposite of mine. I'm still going to swipe my credit card because I love whatever you have to offer. I don't give a shit if you want to marry a goat or believe in, the law of attraction or any of these crazy things out there. You do whatever you want. I don't care.
That's the one thing. Like, I grew up in a family, like, listen to the school system, go to school, get a good job, get married. Like,
sure.
The typical, it's rich people are evil. And it's like, that couldn't be further from the truth. The more successful I get and like hanging out with people in Russell Brunson's mastermind, like that world doing 10, 100 million plus, like they're like, hey, like, you just want to go do really cool shit. Like, I don't care what you believe. I don't care if you're gay, black, blue, brown. Like, it's like, you want to go save some children in this country, or like, you want to build wells. Like, they're awesome people. They're not like, how can we make the poor people's life? Like, now, arguably you have Charles Schwab and crazy things out there. Like, I respect that about people like you. And I'm so glad 7-year-old me was willing to change.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
What have you noticed about how the world's changing? Because like I've seen your views on politics and stuff. Birds of a feather flock together. That's why we're talking. Like, what have you noticed about the world changing, and like, where do you think it's headed?
I think everybody gets continuously more divisive, which is like absurd. Also, like, from a social media standpoint, when it first started, and it started like really picking up, I would say in our space, in the insurance realm or sales realm, arguably in like 2014, 2015, 2016, like I was out of college by then. I was still using social to like, post a picture of my cat. Like, I was using it for business relationships because I was too stupid. Right. But at the same token, everything is just so negative all the time. Even in our insurance forums or anything like that, it's always like, well, I do it this way. Well, you're a fucking idiot, and here's why. Like, it's never like, good job. Yes, that is the correct way to do it. Like, there's always these opposing forces, which I see translating down to our distribution. When we start doing like objection handling or stuff of that nature, based on the industry that we're in, a lot of the newer agents, 20 years old, 22 years old, 25 years old, even arguably 30 years old, are in this combative approach when they're trying to overcome an objection or trying to sell somebody something or trying to push a specific product or service, because we're like ingrained in that right now, like everybody's wrong and I know everything, which each of us individually don't know shit about fuck. So it doesn't really matter. But I see the dichotomy getting ever more polarizing, which arguably could be an okay thing too, because like, just to play devil's advocate against that, if you're in the middle all the time, you don't believe anything.
Nope.
Like, I'm very socially liberal and financially conservative, and you hear that a lot of the times, right? Especially in our space.
Yep.
I don't care if you want to do black tar heroin for a living. You do you, bro. But like, don't use my tax money to pay for your black tar heroin. You know, that's how I feel. But arguably, separating the visions of the country, at least, inverts change. Arguably, like it just will inevitably. So I think it's both a bad thing and a good thing. And I also very much try to, Mason, I know, because I've followed you for a little bit too, is like not let the external economy, whether it be a political atmosphere, we could be in a recession. COVID didn't do fucking anything to my business. Like it might have made it better, arguably, but it didn't like affect it negatively. We just pivoted. But I was always of the mindset, at least for the last decade, of never letting the external economy affect your internal one. So whatever kind of garbage is happening out here, it doesn't affect Pete or ATIG or my inner circle or anything like that.
Winners are going to win no matter what. And that's a thing I think we all have mutual respect of each other for, regardless of political, religious, philosophical beliefs. Like we're willing to put our, like, hey, this is just how I choose to live my life, and that's how you choose to live yours.
Yep.
You're absolutely right. Like the headbutting, it's like we just find ways to naturally be disagreeable, and we wonder why the industry, they say it's 92%. It's real like 99, because the 8%, 99% of them make just enough to pay their bills and still be miserable.
Right.
It's stupid. Everyone just talks shit. It's degenerate. It's a cesspit, but it's like, I love it.
Yeah.
I love the industry and what it's done. So that brings me to my next thing. What do you think the fix to all this is? Like in our space specifically? Because like I see people even bashing you, just bringing up recent events. Like I'm not there to name drop any of that shit. It's none of my business. But it's like, what do you think the fix is to combat these types of narratives and social perceptions? Because perception is reality.
You're always gonna have, if you don't have haters, you're not doing it right. First,
you ain't doing shit.
Yeah, ain't doing shit. So it's okay. There's two sides to every story, no matter who's bashing who. And ultimately, I don't think there is a fix. Like we interview, 40 to 50 agents sometimes on a weekly basis coming over here. And they might say, oh, I was with Joe Schmo's agency and he's an asshole and here's why. I automatically negate that person in terms of wanting to bring them on, because ultimately, if you don't have responsibility for where you fucked up, it's no one else's fault. When we're bringing on people, and I was talking to Tony about this on like a Tuesday training or something in the insurance syndicate, you got to be accountable first and foremost, and then teachable and then coachable. And accountability has to stem from either, like, Mason, if I was interviewing you, right, and you're across the table from me, 9 times out of 10, you're at rock bottom. And that's why you're across the table from me.
They have to be bad to be interviewing for insurance positions.
You know what I mean? No one's waking up. I was on Nick Hyder's podcast a couple weeks ago, The Hit Streak, and we were talking about this. And it's like, you got to be in a pretty fucked up scenario to be like, I want to go work with Pete or Mason or anybody else, right, in the insurance space. So having the accountability to say, okay, I messed up. I couldn't sell. I was unreasonable. I did this, that, and the other thing to put myself in this situation. Here's where I'm at, and I want to learn or be taught or whatever. So ultimately, I think you're always going to have haters. You're going to always have disgruntled people. You're going to always have people that don't, believe in you or believe in what you're doing. Like, example, we're at the precipice of fixed interest rates in terms of the annuity world, right? I've been doing this almost 14 years. I've never seen 8, 9, 10.5% fixed interest guaranteed for like up to $10 million, like insanity. So I'm posting about it every once in a while. I get way more negative comments than positive ones because people are like keyboard warriors. And also these are the people that don't have 10,000 to invest, let alone 100,000. So it really doesn't matter at the end of the day, but it's so funny to throw something out there in terms of like an ultimate positive. Like we know the economy is in the shitter, but here's a pivot point to leverage if you have the opportunity to leverage, and you throw that bait out there and you go to reel in a client, and at the same time, all these piranhas are jumping out of the ocean being like, this is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, they still live in grandma's basement. So you can't take that stuff at face value. You just got to let it.
It's theatrics. I find it hysterical. It's like you don't have $100 to scrape together. What are you talking about? Elon should give his money away. People fascinate me.
Wow.
What's the goal for you? I'm curious, man. Like what's the next 20-year vision? What do you really want to do with all this?
20, to be honest, I don't know. 5 to 10, I would either like to scale to exit or develop some type of like ESOP, like employee stock purchase plan or something like that. So maybe it's employee owned. I haven't really made the decision yet. Right now, we're still in growth mode. I started All Things Insurance Group November of 2021. So like I don't foresee walking away anytime soon. I'm 36 years old. But in the next 5 to 10 year span, I'd like to take a step back, maybe exit, maybe give it to, some of our studs that are in the distribution, let them run with it, maybe be on the board. But as I stated in the beginning, like always had a love for theater. I'd like to build a theater here locally.
Did you ever do any like improv or anything? That's actually one of my favorite things that I've done that I've never talked about.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I've done some in the past. It's fantastic for this industry, or really any sales industry. You know what I mean? So love that stuff. Want to get into that. I'd like to get into the bar restaurant business every once in a while. I know 99% of restaurants fail, but just a passion that I have. And like do more stuff with the arts. And fortunately and unfortunately, you need a shitload of money to be able to go promote the arts. So
I see that as a good money laundering thing for a lot of these people. Like, I'm going to give $18 million for splatter paint. I don't know why that's called art. But like, who are some of your favorite artists?
So my boy Savada did the painting behind us, did these. But in terms of overall, like actual canvas art, I haven't really gotten into that yet. I'm more of like a music and a theater guy. I would like to know more, but to your point too, Mason, it's like I've been to fundraisers and they've had like art pieces and they go for like $300,000 and it's like 7 dots on a canvas. And you're like, why? Why is that a thing? So I would like to learn if any of your viewers or listeners could educate me on the art world. I would love to get into it. I just don't understand shit about it. I like theater. I like music, but overall paintings, sculptures, I don't get it. I can appreciate
a lot of custom pieces from TikTok. They don't value their art enough. And so I get like stupidly underpriced. Like, here's a $500 tip. They're like, what? Like, this is like life change. Like, but dude, like they'll weld you custom pistol, like and all this crazy stuff. It's like, this would be the greatest gift in the world for somebody. Like what do you mean it's only $100? Who is your favorite actor?
Probably Leo. Like,
he's talented.
Dude, he's unbelievable. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street's definitely top 3 movies of all time, just in terms of like actability and obviously overall concept. And we're in that type of industry, so it's really good. But like from What's Eating Gilbert Grape to The Departed to Wolf, like the dude is an animal and a chameleon. Like he can be anything. Django Unchained, he was unbelievable.
That shit was good. What's that one where he goes back in time, like Inception or something?
Inception, unbelievable. Like
I'm not sure if you
Island.
Joseph Morgan. Joseph Dean Moore. He plays this vampire. Like, his character, the way they embody these people and make you feel like they make you hate the villain. They are, dude, like natural salespeople. Natural sales. Everyone out there, go take a damn improv class. It will teach you to embrace the emotionality and all things required to be phenomenal in sales. And I know you're on it. You said you had to go in 10 or 20 or.
Yeah, probably. I got some time. Yeah, I got a 4 o'clock.
Who is your favorite musician?
Oh, Dave Matthews Band for sure. For sure. I'm like part of the cult. I feel like either you love Dave or you hate him. And there's no really in between. It's kind of like the Grateful Dead, like my brother-in-law and my girlfriend love the Grateful Dead. And like, I can appreciate it from a musician standpoint, but I just don't get it at the same time. So love Dave, first and foremost. Dispatch would be my number 2 band. And then really anything from the late 90s, early 2000s, like pop, rock, punk kind of stuff.
I don't know what it is. I'm a unique dude with my music taste. It's like I love the old Irish songs or the old war things. They're like, I don't know what it is. The hair on my neck raises, and I think I can bench more than I really can. And someone's got to come save me when I'm about to die in the gym. Like
the old Irish or like that kind of thing.
Do what?
You like Dropkick Murphys or like that kind of thing?
Some of it, yeah, but it's like anything that gives you the war general vibes or like the piano, like some of that stuff, the triumphant music in nature where it's like I'm campaigning, I'm Alexander, like anything like that. Music, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. What has music done for you personally? Like, what has music and the arts done for you? It's just taught me to see the invisible things in life and can give me more like appreciation, depth, like stuff like that. I'm definitely weird with my perspective on it, but I'm curious what it's done for you.
It can, like, I went through some like pretty hard times. I mean, hard is all intro and retrospective.
Yeah.
But, like, I was like $100+ grand in debt at 23 years old because I got roll-up debt from the life insurance business. I had a house I couldn't afford. I bought a BMW like a jackass, like at 23. So I think like music or the arts in general can put you into a place of both like catharsis and like serenity and makes you happy, can change your mood like this. So when everything's really shitty, like you can put on your favorite artists and flip that mindset very, very fast. Or to your point, Mason, like be in the gym. Like I listen to different music when I'm driving in the car than I do when I'm lifting or playing racquetball or whatever, but it can change your mood so fast. And for those of the rare breed out there that I've like run into and they're like, yeah, I'm not a huge like music fan, or I only like this band. I'm like, what are you, some kind of psycho? Like it totally redirects your mood instantaneously, whether you know it or not. So I love it. I think it's so complex and so simple at the same time, which is such a cool concept too.
The paradoxical world we live in.
Yeah. So I love it. I'm a big arts nut.
Yeah, what you said. Yeah, when Black Eyed Peas, Where Is the Love comes on, it's like, all right, it's time to party, bitches. That and like poetry, that's definitely my soft spot. I love reading poetry, writing it. It's definitely fascinating.
That's cool.
So, dude, I'll be respectful of your time. I appreciate you coming on. Where can an agent find you, or if people want to join ATIG? That's All Things Insurance Group, guys. So where can they get in touch with you, Pete?
Yeah, any social media platform at peterjfournier.com. Just first name, middle initial, last name. I think I have the same handle everywhere. You can go to petefournier.com for coaching or anything like that, or allthingsinsurancegroup.com if you're interested in purchasing a policy or working over here. So I answer all my own DMs. You can hit me up personally. I'll respond to you as fast as humanly possible.
And one last question just before we get off here.
Yeah.
I just moved my whole community to the Skool group because I'm shutting down a lot of my coaching stuff and moving to done for you, like webinars, big high ticket space.
Cool.
Would you be one of the recommended like uplines? Because I'm looking for like 5 people that can actually handle the bandwidth of, like, I've got 40,000 agents on my damn email list. So it's like,
awesome.
Would you be willing to do that? Like come in the Skool group, stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 4 different platforms. depending on like if you're a super neophyte agent all the way up to an experienced one and everywhere in between. And we let the recruits, for lack of a better term, pick their own poison. And you can switch comp plans every 6 months. So it's totally nimble and up to them. But yeah, happy to help. We got every resource imaginable. Obviously, you have private access to me, but we have an online training university, kind of like you guys. We have my playbooks. We have a Slack channel. So we almost give away too much training. I feel like some people are just training mongers and they're on every call and then they don't implement. But
they never have time for anything else, not even their kids sometimes. Well, guys, This is Pete Swagger Fournier. You guys go check him out. I appreciate your time, man. So you enjoy the rest of your day, buddy.
Thanks, bro. You too.
See ya.